Well, the 6th University of Fort Hare University students arrested for allegedly killing a fellow student are expected to apply for bail today in the Alice Magistrate's Court. The deceased student was accused of stealing a laptop and beaten and thereafter stabbed to death. But at the same time, the university continues to be linked to court cases involving murdered senior staff members, academic fraud and an ongoing investigation relating to corruption. eNCA reporter, that's Ronald Masinda, is tracking that story for us and joins me now to give me the very latest. Ronald, a very warm good morning to you. What exactly is expected in court this morning?
Good morning, Tumela. Well, it is the bail application of the 6 suspected murderers who are allegedly behind the murder of a 21-year-old Bachelor of Science in Agriculture student. Now, the incident allegedly took place during the early hours of a Sunday morning. It is alleged that an assault took place at a local pub in Dikeni, and that went through a process where the assault took place then on campus. It is alleged that the 21-year-old was stabbed to death. Now, to my left, the 6 suspects are here in court. They are awaiting their bail application. They were arrested on Sunday morning and then appeared, making their first appearance in court on Monday. They have been in custody ever since. But this has, of course, shocked many at the University of Fort Hare, with the university saying that they are offering psychological support to those who knew the deceased. What we also understand is that the deceased does hail from Dikeni, with his next of kin being alerted by what took place on Sunday. But what we can expect is that these 6 suspects will be applying for bail. But the university itself is also conducting its own investigation, and it is expected to release a report. And if the 6 are indeed registered students at the university, they will be provided a precautionary suspension, and a disciplinary hearing is expected to take place. But the university at this stage has not given much detail about its own investigation, but it is an incident that has also left many students up in arms. The SRC calling for stricter measures, security measures within the Alice campus of the University of Fort Hare, as incidents such as theft have been seen as being quite rife.
Well, also under the same breath, we understand that this is a university and institutions of higher learning, that's the University of Fort Hare, Ronald, that's still marred by other allegations of alleged murdering of senior staff members in the university, fraud, maladministration. Take us through that context regarding some of the other cases that the university is currently grappling with.
Yes, indeed, Tumela, and this is certainly an incident that the university doesn't need at this stage, because 9 suspects are still appearing in court behind assassination and assassination attempts of staff of the University of Fort Hare. We know that the late bodyguard Mboneli Vesele was one of the people who was shot and killed earlier this year, as well as Petrus Roots, the fleet manager, who was murdered outside of his East London home last year. So that case is still ongoing in court. 3 of the 9 suspects are still applying for bail, while the other 6 remain in custody. Then there's the issues of academic fraud. Even people like the likes of Oscar Mabuyane, the Premier of the province, has also allegedly been linked to academic fraud at the university. That case is still ongoing. We are expecting, of course, the SIU to also continue its probe into other allegations such as maladministration and fraud at the institution. And in fact, even earlier this year, we saw at least 13 University of Fort Hare students also appearing in court, facing charges of arson and theft. That follows a fire that engulfed parts of the university's sports complex. So this and more certainly doesn't bode well for an institution that has such a rich history, an institution that has also been an institution seen as the home of many of Africa's leaders, such as the likes of the late struggle icons Nelson Mandela and Oliver Tambo.
Yeah, we'll continue, of course, placing a close eye on the case as well, both cases, as a matter of fact. But from where you stand, just remind us, perhaps, Ronald, what time can we expect court to begin this morning?
Yes, so any moment from now we are expecting court to resume, and following that we are also hoping, Tumelo, to get more reaction from the people who perhaps knew the deceased, and also get word from the University of Fort Hare as to what actually happened during the early investigation. But what I can also say, and this is just from a source within the university, is that the deceased perhaps had a sort of a history of committing theft. But of course, this is also under investigation. But what we know is that the deceased was a third-year student, and during the first 2 years of his Bachelor in Science degree, we are told that he was an excellent student who even achieved distinctions. It is only this year where there were poor marks, and this could, some say within the institution, could be attributed to some of the problems that this University of Fort Hare student faced. But I mean, those are all allegations at this stage, so we are trying to find out more as to what could have possibly been the motive behind such a gruesome murder of such a young student at the age of 21.
Absolutely, and we'll continue following through with the cases. We see some of the suspects also behind you, Ronald, from where you stand inside court, expected to apply for bail this morning, we understand, after that killing, that beating and stabbing to death of a third-year Bachelor of Science student out at the University of Fort Hare. eNCA reporter Ronald Masinda will give us developments as they occur right here on eNCA.